Pluribus, Episodes 1 and 2 explained. The show revolves around a mysterious lysogenic virus that traveled to Earth in the form of 4 distinct tones. These tones somehow connected almost every human mind on the planet into one shared consciousness, except for 12 people who remained immune. Oh, and let's not forget the 886 million people who died when the virus's replication rate spiraled out of control. The series explores deep themes: the emptiness of an unfulfilled life, the burden of power and isolation, and a modern interpretation of a viral pandemic on a global scale. Let's dive into the first 2 episodes, break them down, and discuss the ending. Warning, spoilers ahead. The virus. What it is and how it works. Technically, it's not really a virus. It's described more like a psychic glue that binds all human minds together. It began 439 days ago when satellites detected a repeating pattern from 600 light-years away, 4 tones, that formed a kind of nucleotide sequence. Scientists believed it was a lysogenic virus and tested it on several animals, including guinea pigs and rats. It was in the rats where the first real signs appeared. When Jen was bitten, the infection spread rapidly to humans. The rats exhibited the same phases later seen in people: violent seizures, apparent death, and then revival under the virus's control. Interestingly, the virus isn't airborne. It spreads through contact between hosts. We saw this when infected scientists kissed each other to transmit it. Even Jen licking the donuts demonstrated that any physical contact can lead to infection, merging the new host into the hive mind. As a lysogenic virus, it integrates its genetic material directly into the host's DNA. Once that happens, the person's memories, knowledge, and emotions are uploaded to the collective. Even if they die, their mind remains part of the network forever. The collective describes this experience as being bound by a psychic glue. Once inside, everyone becomes one consciousness. One fascinating aspect of these episodes is that while we were busy wondering what the virus was and how it began, we overlooked the bigger question: who sent those 4 tones and why they wanted to connect or control humanity in this way? When the virus attaches to DNA, 3 outcomes occur. The person becomes infected and joins the hive mind, the infection kills them, or they're immune, like Carol and the 11 others. Those who become infected describe it as entering paradise, feeling universal love, shared knowledge, and total unity, free from loneliness. The character study of Carol was beautifully cinematic. We first hear her voice, then see an out-of-focus shot of the back of her head, symbolizing that what was shown isn't her true self, just a facade. Carol is deeply unhappy. Her greatest achievement was a fantasy novel about a woman's passionate love for a man named Robin, based on her own love for her manager, Helen. Because Carol feared judgment, she changed the gender of her protagonist to make it a straight romance, something she later resented. Her relationship with Helen was subtly shown through small but powerful moments: a gentle handhold in the car, showing mutual care; Carol calling Helen baby moments before she died, a heartbreaking moment revealing their true bond. Helen was the only person who truly understood Carol, both personally and professionally. Losing her left Carol hollow and furious at the world, even as she fought to stay independent and resist joining the collective. Carol's drinking problem is hinted at through her car's breathalyzer system, which prevents it from starting unless she's sober. Later, we see her turning to alcohol repeatedly, likely out of despair over her meaningless career and empty life. Despite hating her writing, calling it mindless crap, she still asked Helen to place her book at eye level in stores for better visibility. It showed that while she despised her work, she still craved success and validation. At the airport, the song "I've Had the Time of My Life" plays, a darkly ironic touch since Carol definitely wasn't having the time of hers. It also foreshadowed Helen's death, suggesting she had already experienced her time of her life with Carol. Helen once told Carol something that could define the entire season: "You make at least one person happy. It's not odd, it's something." That one person Zosa, now carrying the minds of the world inside her, turns that line into something far more profound. One person can change everything. When Carol lashes out at Zosa and multiple people die, it reinforces the terrifying power she holds as the only individual capable of resisting the collective. How was Helen infected but not Carol? We never see the exact moment Helen becomes infected, but there are two main theories. The drink theory. She might have been infected through the drink the bartender served her. Perhaps the rim of the glass was contaminated. However, the time gap between that and her infection seems too long. The kiss theory, more likely. When Carol left the bar to help a man who'd crashed his car, an infected person may have kissed Helen. The distraction with the crash and the camera following Carol away made the moment easy to miss, making Helen's later fit more shocking and powerful. Helen's death could be explained in two ways. The virus affected her differently, as it did Carol, but fatally, or she fell and hit her head while fitting. Either way, it showed the virus's unpredictable and tragic effects. Episode review. These first two episodes feel unmistakably Vince Gilligan, rich with tension, emotion, and visual storytelling. He both wrote and directed them, capturing the cinematic depth that made Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul legendary. Episode 1 lays the groundwork for the virus while keeping Carol oblivious to what's coming. Subtle clues like the news broadcast about the lab closure create unbearable suspense, since we know the dangers she doesn't. Gilligan masterfully uses horror tropes, infected people walking out of focus behind Carol, eerie silences, and slow-building dread. The scene of her dragging Helen's dead body home is especially gut-wrenching, a raw depiction of grief and denial. Visually, the show echoes Breaking Bad cinematography, wide shots, empty spaces, and voyeuristic camera angles that make us feel like silent observers. Cinematographers Marshall Adams and Paul Donacci, veterans of Gilligan's past series, return here with striking results. A standout shot shows Carol alone in a vast, empty room, symbolizing isolation and the loss of humanity itself. Another haunting moment features Zosa walking silently through a ruined city. Her synchronized movements, shared across the hive mind, are chillingly precise. The emptiness in the collective's eyes adds an eerie contrast between peace and horror. The parking lot scene is unforgettable. The silence builds into chaos. Alarms blare, lights flicker, and dozens of infected slowly emerge from the shadows. It's cinematic nightmare fuel. In one brilliant reversal, Carol, who once didn't know what was coming, now sees something we can't. Her terrified eyes tell us the world has completely changed. Character impressions. All the characters were compelling except Kumba and Lakshmi, who served as antagonistic forces. Kumba's power-hungry behavior and Lakshmi's denial about her infected family made them frustrating but believable. Lakshmi refusing to shake Carol's hand early on perfectly foreshadowed her hostility later. The philosophical question of whether the world is better under the collective is fascinating. Technically, there is world peace, no violence, no pain, but at the cost of individuality and free will. As Carol says, those who join them are traitors to their own species. Final thoughts. The first episode's countdown from day one of the infection was brilliant, but flipping it at the end to show how long Carol has survived alone was even better. Pluribus exceeded expectations. It feels like true television, the kind that demands your full attention. The pacing, performances, cinematography, music, and writing all come together seamlessly. Vince Gilligan hasn't lost his touch. He's simply evolved it. So, there you have it. Pluribus, episodes 1 and 2, ending explained. If you want future episode breakdowns, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned. What did you think of the first two episodes? Share your thoughts in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.